guys, welcome to this exclusive. This is a Patreon exclusive here. Thank you for being a Patreon. And I'm going to demonstrate what I'm doing here. Basically, I'm hitting the open A string as a pickup note, and then I'm hitting the D string. So I'm thinking kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, just with my thumb, and 1, and then from there, to create a D minor 7 to G7 chord, I'm doing actually an F triad, and then a G triad. Okay, so this should actually be learned all over the fretboard. F, G, F, G, and even F here, and G. Excuse me, here's my, let me tune up here. So, as you can tell, these videos are not edited, and that's just going to allow me, of course, to get them done quicker and get them out to you sooner. So, okay, so here we go. Thank you. So here's that intro again, and I'm actually doing this finger style. So, and I don't go through all the inversions, but you could if you wanted to, even way up here. And I'm just staying on the top 3 strings. I think this makes a great triad study in general. Sorry for the light glaring here against out from my window here. So anyways, back to that intro. Boom, boom, boom. And 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 3. And then immediately I kick right into the melody. And I want to, the chord says D major 7 on the chart there, or D6. It's a major chord. So what I'm doing is getting the melody note, and then I'm putting the F sharp in the bass, and then the D here, and then the E, which is the 9, and then the A. If you wanted to, you could play the C sharp and the F sharp, and that's actually what I wrote as the ending chord. Okay, but I love that chord. Again, you're probably wondering, why putting the F sharp in the bass? Well, otherwise it would just be this triad, but I didn't want that. I wanted the, instead of D, F sharp, A here, I want a D, E, A, so I could go with the 3rd in the bass. So I find that when I'm on the lower strings in the melody, I often put the 3rd in the bass, just to kind of be more melodic and to have more coverage if I'm on the lower strings, either the 3rd or the 4th string for the melody. So here's our opening line, and I'm just arpeggiating, as you can see, with my right hand. Okay, now this kind of complex part. And so what I did there was this arpeggio that's diminished with a little slide, because that's what the melody is. Okay, I'm actually using my pinky usually. Do what works best for you. And then 3rds, and then open. Okay, and that's going to take a little bit of practice. I had to kind of think about, I actually had changed it from my previous arrangement I thought this worked better, laid better to where I can actually execute it. So, let's see. Okay, so, and you're just going to practice it slow. As you see, I missed that note. So it'd be a good study. Of course, you can always just do it single notes too. Okay, let's go on to the A minor add 9 chord. Now I love this chord. You probably heard me use this in many other bossas, or even swing for that matter. But I like generally I don't use chords with open strings unless it's an ending chord for swing. But for bossas, I want it to ring. And then I just move this G to F sharp. So that's an A minor add 9 if you're unfamiliar with this chord. I probably used it in my various other arrangements, but it's open A, G, the flat 7, flat 3, C, then the B, and that's the 9, and then the E on A on top, I'm sorry. So, beautiful ending chord. And then it sounds great when you go to the 6. But not only that, that implies a D9. See, just without the bass note. So I went like this. And then I continued on with the melody. And there I'm treating the melody with sixes. So sixes are a great way. Beautiful, very melodic, and it's a nice way to harmonize, especially when you have like an open string ringing. Okay, Pat Metheny, Earl Klugh, Joe Pass. You know, it sounds bluesy. If you want it to sound bluesy, or this lick, of course. You know. So, anyways, I love it. I love mixing the. I call it mixing the. Densities. Densities referring to how thick you want your chord. Do you want it single notes? Do you want octaves? Do you want double stops, sixes, thirds, fourths, fifths? They all have different flavors. So in this case, I opted for sixes. This kind of has a sweet flavor. And then I kick in a G6-9, and then G6-9 here, and then G minor 6. And then I side slip to get the half step, the F sharp, for loving you. So that was, then G minor 6 there, then side slip. Side slip means same shape, just moving it around half steps chromatically. So you can basically just call it an F sharp minor 6, and then G minor 6. Okay, very good trick for piano, guitar. It just sounds very smooth. You don't always have to, you know, it's basically going to play another chord that it's not written on the paper, but it sounds great. And then I'm going to G minor 6 with a 9. And then here I'm going to F sharp 13. Okay, so normally you'd play 13 like this. You know, that's our kind of Freddie Green, big band style comping chord. But I am putting the F sharp on high because that's where the melody is. For loving you. Doing a little finger picking, and then I flatten 13. I also call that F sharp 7 sharp 5. So here's the 5th here, F sharp 7 grip shape, sharp 5, 13. So this guy right here can be called two different chords, F sharp 7 flat 13 or F sharp 7 sharp 5. Okay, so let's go on from there. Oh, and I'm arpeggiating that. I'm going. Right to this B7, and I want this diminished chord right here. So I'm just playing 3 notes, by the way. Actually, I might just sometimes play the bass note, and then kick into this F sharp dim here. You can do it like this. I'm actually fingering 1 note per string, and that's just all diminished chromatic. So these little licks have got to be practiced separately, but hopefully they're shapes you already know. And then I slide immediately to the C, that sus there, the E7, E9 sus. And basically it's just this, you can just bar across, and that's B minor 11 or E9 sus 4. So I'm just doing this. And then of course I did that to make it a dominant, from the sus to the dominant. And then I hit the bass again, the E, with a little lick here, which is just the melody. And then now this B flat 7, all right out of that shape. You could do it like this. Okay. Oh, I'm just barring. And then I'm going to the 3rd, D, of the B flat, which is D minor 7 flat 5. That's just like your great blues trick, if you know, imagine this. Okay, that's kind of the very nice bluesy flavor. That gives you a B flat 9. Okay, that's not the diminished trick. Usually off the 3rd you play diminished if you want it darker, but in this case it's half dim. So back to that. Let's step back a few few chords, and then on this A7 I'm actually doing kind of like a riff. The interlude, same thing. that was an air there. And then here's an A minor add 9, and then sixes, 6-9, minor 6-9 size, G6-9. You can even keep the rhythm. Sometimes you'll hear me just play rhythm. Okay, this bossa rhythm, boom chuck, without doing this. Sometimes I just freely, you know, have my right hand do either finger picking things or the rhythmic comping style. B7, diminish. And that was just a repeat there. I was going to continue there, but that's where I kick in a D7, because now this pulls us to the G minor 7, which is the first chord of the B section. And that's just a triad, because why? I want to hit that D and go, and I'm syncopating that by 1 and. And again, you know, depending on how I feel at the moment, of course, the rhythm might change. And that's not even written in the sheet music, of course, that's ad-libbing. I did write that in my PDF, except I only wrote that far, but now on the video on YouTube, I went up to that. And of course, that's a diminish. If you're wondering, wait, what is that? D7? And then you slide it up 3 frets. That's our diminished trick. And it creates a D7 flat 9. You can, if you have good finger picking technique, you know, you can make it fancy like that. But I just chose to go. Okay, now we're into G minor. Now we're in the B section. G minor 7. This is an inversion here. Okay. Very important to know your shapes here. Then I'm doing some planing, some fourths planing. Basically, G minor 7 and B flat 6 are the same. So if I were to do this for B flat 6, which is actually 6-9, you can kind of connect these. And that's this. It's kind of a good trick to know that you could do this and just slide it up a whole 7. So basically, it's almost like an A minor. It's kind of a Dorian thing here. I call that planing, pentatonic planing. There's different names for it. G minor 11, and then I ended up on the C9 shape. And on the chart, I wrote C in parentheses here. If you are, you know, really wanting to get the bass note in there, then please feel free to do so. Studying kind of a lot of Joe Pass etudes, or not even etudes, sorry, it's chord melody arrangements. He would often just omit the bass notes and just play the upper top 4 strings. So that's been a lot of my approach. Okay, and that's C9. And then that's E minor 7 flat 5. Starts off without E minor 7 flat 5, and then E minor 7 flat 5, which is C9. If I put the C in the bass, that'd be C9, but that's too much work. You don't need it. C9, and then F6-9. Okay, and I think I do it like this usually. On the chart, on the PDF, you'll see this. I just wrote rhythm, but on the video, you'll see me do a filler, F major 7, F major 6-9, F major 7. So it'll sound like this. And I take this shape, F, where I ended with the F major 7, slide it up chromatically, and 4, and now it turns into F minor 9. Okay, so this is where it kind of differs from the YouTube video a little bit. So I would suggest that you study this if you want to recreate what I'm doing on the YouTube video for the chord melody arrangement. But the chart is kind of, again, the basic framework without the fancy stuff. So let's do that again. G minor. F major 7. F6-9. F major 7 inversion. Chromatic to the F minor 9. And I put the F in the parentheses there on the chart there, the tabs, in case you don't want to grab it. I don't always feel like I need it. Then it's very similar to what we just did on the G minor. Same thing actually. Just walk it down, and I didn't put the B flat here, but you could, which would be like this. It's a little bit too much work. And then same idea, and then B flat 13, then E flat 6 9. You could just do major 7 if you feel like that. Okay, as long as you get the B on top, and as long as the melody goes. And then back to your last A. But this chord here, that was a G triad with the A in the bass, and then which creates a sus9, A9, sus4. I just wrote a G/A. That's what you'll often see, and then you can move this finger down if you want to resolve it, or you can just leave it unresolved. And then same stuff. Except on the video, I realized I did vary it up here, and I did not write this down, so I'm going to walk you through this. A minor add 9, and then this time I went to F sharp minor 7 flat 5, which is a substitute for the D7. We already talked about that. It's just creating a 9, D9. So I went A minor add 9, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, and then the melody. Those same 6s that we did over here. I feel like if you could do it over here, you should be able to do it over here, always. So if you did it here, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, you should be able to do it there, okay? That's pretty important. And then G major 9, very pretty. And then, this is cool, I went to G/B, G/B, kind of a Django Reinhardt thing, but Jobim loved these slash chords too. It's not written in the chart usually, so again, I went from G major 9 to G/B, G major 7/B, and that's just sliding that G to F sharp. So I went, and then it's supposed to be G minor 6 there, but I'm putting it with the B flat in the bass. Okay, so just get this nice. And again, this is not written, this is on my video, but I kind of just did it without writing it in the chart. But G minor 6, just a little theory here. G minor 6 is equivalent to E minor 7 flat 5, okay? And E minor, and of course that's the flat 5 right there in the bass. So it's kind of darker. Where E minor 7 flat 5 is dark, but that's darker. Okay, so again, back to that last. That was just a little single note melody, and then I did an F sharp 7 sus to F sharp 7, just to create movement. Okay, just lots of voice leading, and of course add rhythm. And then this will go to B7, and then I did just like I did down here, but I did here. Then I went, okay, same diminished 7th, same trick. B right here. B will do it here. And then the same riff in the bass. And then I did some fills. I'll show you that in a second too. I just reviewed the video to make sure I knew what I did. But again, that whole last A section there, the last 4 bars was the same as before, and that B flat 7 to go. And there I did it. This is now for fills. I'm just thinking on this vamp, I'll call it the intro and outro vamp. It's actually kind of an interlude, but really as an interlude, it's just 2 bars. You don't have time to fill, you know what I mean? So, but when you're jamming on it as an intro for a song or an outro, I like to just jam out on it for, a few minutes. So there I'm going D minor pentatonic. Okay, just kind of your classic rock riffs. And here, same idea. By the way, D minor penta is the same as F major penta. They're relative. So if you started here on F, You know, all those great rock blues licks, Hendrix inspired. Now I was just thinking F major penta. D minor. And that's all that the outro is. You can hopefully just jam out on that. So again, that first riff. Let's see, what did I do? Then I went to here. Then I went to here. Then I did it. And now it's just right down the pentatonic 16th notes. And that was 3E and 4E and 1. Let's see, 1. I'm doing it. Back to. And then if you can grab these harmonics, great. And then the high one. And these are creating a false bridge here, so I'm holding these 2 and 2 and 2 on top. Well, actually the whole shape. And then you want to go an octave higher. So 14, 17, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14. There's some, Lenny Breau, B-R-E-A-U, Lenny Breau, Chet Atkins. These guys are the best at it. Ted Green. So again, you can just kind of create these false harmonics. Even Django Reinhardt used it on his Nuage solo. I'm not sure which year it was, but he did his whole solo just with harmonics. Just if you know what I mean. That you could just, Tal Farlow did it too. Just playing single notes with these artificial harmonics. Okay guys, so that is the arrangement broken down for you. Thank you again for being a patron. We'll see you next time.